Why do most people fail at positioning themselves? The essence of getting lost in the mirror of external realities. A silent tragedy unfolds daily within the consciousness of millions. We spend our entire existence architecting an image we believe the world demands to see. Rather than cultivating the authentic self we actually are, we gaze into society as if it were a hall of mirrors. But unfortunately, these are funhouse mirrors, warped by prejudice, envy, selfish expectations, and the superficial criteria of the era. By relentlessly adjusting our posture, our appearance, and our very souls to fit these distorted reflections, we gradually lose our original countenance. Why do most people fail to position themselves? The diagnosis does not point to a deficiency in talent, a lack of luck, or a shortage of exertion. It lies in the fact that they have engineered the foundation of their mental home upon the quicksand of external validation. They position themselves by what they possess rather than what they are. They define their personal worth via the brand of the vehicle they pilot, the title printed on their business card, or the quantitative metrics of their digital following. This trajectory inadvertently transmutes existence into a grueling, exhausting performance, a race without a finish line where every stride is monitored by the judgmental eye of the crowd. An unawakened mind perpetually views the voids of life, the intervals devoid of applause or attention, as a punitive sentence of isolation and amnesia. They terrorize themselves with the silence of an empty room because within that vacuum, they can no longer hear the external echoes required to reassure them of their own existence. But the autonomous mind understands that standing outside the perimeter of public attention is entirely separate from tragedy. It is a consecrated interval to return home, a sacred timeline to cleanse the world's debris and reconnect with the core internal frequency. Successful self-positioning initiates the exact moment we find the courage to mute the raucous static of the world to listen to our own orchestration. Dissecting the friction of the crowd and the traps of external standards. To comprehend why independent posture is such an arduous labor, we must dissect the socio-psychological mechanics besieging human consciousness day and night. We are born into an invisible yet dense matrix of peer pressure, the bandwagon effect, and historical prejudices. From an evolutionary standpoint, our ancestors survived by belonging to a tribe. Exile from the clan equated to physical death. Consequently, the human brain engineered a biological architecture hypersensitive to communal rejection. The moment an individual thinks or acts out of alignment with the majority, a hazard warning immediately detonates within the nervous system. This is the structural root of the bandwagon effect's manipulative force. It manufactures a powerful illusion of security. If everyone is executing it this way, it must be correct. But history has clinically demonstrated that the majority rarely represents truth. The majority typically represents a baseline, easily manipulated psychological average. Modern civilization has discarded primitive tribes, yet it has architected infinitely more sophisticated traps, synchronized external standards. We are socialized via a standardized life script. Graduate from a prestigious institution. Secure a stable desk job. Marry before a specific chronological milestone. Acquire a home and a vehicle via debt integration. Procreate and pass the identical script to the next generation. Any individual selecting an alternate crossroads, choosing to align with their own natural evolutionary timeline rather than sprinting after the social clock, confronts an invisible yet terrifying friction, the skepticism of family, the judgment of peers, and deep internal uncertainty. Standardized social script. Criterion 1. Synchronized prestige. Criterion 2. Material possession as measurement. Criterion 3. Existential axis placed externally. Friction from the bandwagon effect. Obsessed, trapped consciousness. Have you ever questioned whether the objectives you chase are your own grandiose dreams, or merely societal dreams installed into your subconscious? When you work yourself into a frenzy, when you experience exhaustion, stasis, and obsession within the wheel of competition, is it because you genuinely love the labor, or because you fear the sensation of falling behind in the estimation of others? The reality is, attempting to correct life's structural errors by stacking external titles onto your identity is akin to a parched individual drinking saltwater. The more you consume, the deeper the thirst. This standard trap converts us into assembly line laborers manufacturing industrialized lives, where unique individuality is liquidated to clear the path for easily managed uniformity. Unveiling the quality, refusing to let public opinion determine personal worth. Standing before the fortified wall of social pressure. The definitive quality of an autonomous mind is this: refusing to let public opinion determine personal worth. Public opinion, by its inherent nature, is an amorphous entity, as volatile as the weather and as shallow as sea foam. Today the crowd elevates you to the heavens as a titan. Tomorrow they drag you into the mud over a minor misinterpretation or a shift in societal taste. If you permit your worth to fluctuate along the sine wave of public opinion, you are voluntarily surrendering the supreme sovereignty of your life. You transmute into a marionette whose strings are held by anonymous directors who have no comprehension of who you truly are. An individual possessing this caliber understands that the applause and the critique of the world do not narrate their essence, rather, they reveal the worldview, prejudice, and psychological state of the speaker. When someone launches a malicious critique, it is typically because your actions have accidentally triggered an unarchived fear or a state of helplessness within themselves. Instead of reacting with fury or rushing to justify themselves, the autonomous individual selects benevolence. They view these judgments not as lethal arrows designed to wound the soul, but as rich existential raw materials, lessons waiting to be transformed to deepen their comprehension of human behavior and social mechanics. In the classic text The Road Less Traveled, the psychiatrist M. Scott Peck emphasized the weight of self-responsibility and detaching from external blueprints. The journey of spiritual growth requires extraordinary courage to step out of the ready-made templates of family and society. It is a process of transmuting from living by borrowed values to self-architecting and assuming total responsibility for your own value system. Refusing to let public opinion dictate worth does not imply descending into arrogance, defiance, or becoming deaf to constructive input. The autonomous mind operates a highly refined cognitive filter. They receive external data with an open yet vigilant posture. They distinguish between sincere, constructive critique designed to help them architect a superior experience, and the toxic static generated by envy or ignorance. They do not close their doors to the world. They merely close their doors to negative energies devoid of evolutionary value. This is the truth about intrinsic value, operating your own internal coordinates. Once an individual has navigated sufficient friction, tumbled down, and stood back up on their own terms, they achieve clarity regarding an ultimate truth. The intrinsic worth of a human being is a constant, never a variable dependent on external realities. Visualize a high-denomination banknote. If that note is pristine, everyone desires to possess it. But if that note is crumpled, trampled into the mire, or stained by the dust of the road, does it forfeit its baseline value? Will the market reject it simply because its aesthetic exterior is no longer flawless? The answer is an absolute no. The value of the banknote is guaranteed by a central institution, by the inherent fabric of its composition, and the numerical value stamped upon it, not by its temporary state of cleanliness at a singular moment. Internal coordinate axis, the constant. Crystalline self-awareness. Immutable core value system. Sovereign identity, non-identification. The filter of awakened thought. External static, applause, critique, mere reference data. Your essence operates on the identical blueprint. Your intrinsic worth is architected from self-compassion, integrity, independent thought, and the evolutionary path of your consciousness. Once you locate and anchor your own internal coordinate axis, meaning you know exactly who you are, where you stand, what values you represent, and which direction you are advancing, then all external appraisal is reduced to mere reference noise. It lacks the force to shake the roots of an ancient tree that has nailed its core deep into the bedrock of the earth. An individual with a fortified internal coordinate system navigates existence with absolute composure. Upon receiving praise, they smile with gratitude but refuse to let the ego inflate into arrogance. For they recognize they still possess boundaries requiring expansion. When confronting a wave of criticism or structural failure, they do not collapse into self-destructive panic. For they recognize this crisis is merely a surface experience. It cannot define or diminish their core value. They comprehend that every occurrence, whether honor or disgrace, victory or defeat, is premium material, allowing them to align with the evolutionary cycle of the soul. Ask yourself at the conclusion of the day, when the stage lights fade and you are left solitary with your four walls, if I stripped away every piece of property, reputation, title, and external validation, what would truly remain of me? The answer to that query is the most accurate diagnostic measurement of your self-positioning. If you encounter a vacuum of emptiness, it is an indicator that your axis is still placed externally. If you experience peace and self-containment, congratulations, you have initiated the mastery of your own kingdom. There is no necessity to exhaust yourself attempting to become a perfect copy of someone else. Nor is there any urgency to frantically repair the fractures in the estimation of the crowd. Permit past traumas to be transmuted into wisdom. When you stand firm on your internal coordinates, you cease to be a beggar migrating through the world hunting for validation. You transmute into an independent source of light, a sovereign entity, radiating through the grit and unique beauty of your own uncopied life. Your companionship throughout this journey is the vital energy that sustains and drives the profound values we are co-architecting. Thank you for the intervals you have carved out to listen, perceive, and view existence from these expanded horizons. The old lessons are concluding to clear the space for a new arena of experience. I shall meet you on our next Odyssey, where we will continue to harvest the grit of an autonomous mind, standing unshakable before all mutations of reality. May you always safeguard the absolute stillness within the depths of your own ocean.